Welcome back everyone to our channel History Value of the Coins, where we explore the fascinating world of coins, their history, and the surprising value they can hold. Every coin has a story, and today we are diving deep into one of the most talked about and collectible coins in American history, the 1982 1-cent coin, also known as the Lincoln penny. Make sure you stay with us till the end of this video because the 1982 penny is not just any coin. It's a special year filled with mysteries, varieties, and incredible hidden worth that could make you richer than you think. The story of the 1982 1-cent coin begins with a major change in American coinage history. Before 1982, all Lincoln cents were made mostly of copper, 95% copper and 5% zinc. But due to the rising cost of copper during the early 1980s, the U.S. Mint decided to switch to a cheaper metal composition to save money. Starting in the middle of 1982, the Mint changed the formula to 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper, with the outer layer being copper-plated. This change made the coins much lighter, dropping from 3.11 grams for the copper version to just 2.5 grams for the new zinc version. This switch resulted in something truly unique. Two different types of 1982 pennies exist, both copper and zinc. But that's not all. There were also different lettering styles used that year. Some pennies have large dates and others have small dates. When you combine these factors, you get a total of 7 different varieties of 1982 Lincoln cents. Collectors today spend years searching for all 7. The 7 varieties are as follows. From the Philadelphia Mint, there are 4 types: 1982 large date copper, 1982 small date copper, 1982 large date zinc, and 1982 small date zinc. From the Denver Mint, there are 3 1982 large date copper, 1982 large date zinc, and 1982 D small date zinc. The D stands for Denver, while coins from Philadelphia have no mint mark. Now here's where the excitement begins. One extremely rare coin exists that has become legendary among collectors: the 1982 D small date copper penny. According to the Mint's records, no copper cents were supposed to be made in Denver that year, yet a few slipped through during the transition from copper to zinc. Only a handful of these rare 1982 D small date copper pennies have been discovered so far. Each of them is worth thousands of dollars. In fact, one sold at auction for over $18,000, making it one of the most valuable modern pennies ever found. If you have a 1982 penny, you can easily check whether it's copper or zinc. Just use a digital scale. If it weighs around 3.11 grams, it's copper. If it weighs about 2.5 grams, it's zinc. It's a fun and simple way to discover whether you're holding an ordinary coin or a rare treasure. Let's talk about the design of the 1982 1-cent coin. The obverse side, designed by Victor David Brenner, shows a right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln with the words, "In God We Trust," along the top, Liberty to the left, and the date to the right. The reverse side, designed by Frank Gasparo, features the majestic Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., along with the inscriptions United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, and 1 cent. This design was used from 1959 until 2008, making it one of the most familiar images in U.S. coinage history. Now let's move on to the value of the 1982 1-cent coin. Ordinary circulated examples of the copper and zinc pennies are still worth 1 cent in everyday use. However, uncirculated coins in mint condition can be worth much more to collectors. A shiny 1982 large date copper penny in mint state can fetch up to $5, while rare high-grade examples can bring even higher prices. The small date versions are generally more sought after, especially in uncirculated condition. Proof coins made in San Francisco, marked with an S, can also bring premium prices, often between $5 and $20 depending on their quality and luster. But the real magic lies in error coins and rare varieties. For instance, the 1982 D small date copper penny, as mentioned earlier, can sell for tens of thousands of dollars. Other error types like double die strikes, off-center strikes, and coins with missing layers or clipped planchets can also command impressive prices at auction. These unique errors make each coin one of a kind, and collectors love them. The 1982 penny holds a special place in coin collecting because it represents a turning point in U.S. coinage, the moment when the copper era ended and the modern zinc era began. This makes it a key date for collectors and historians alike. Because of its transitional nature, It tells the story of how economic pressures can influence even the smallest details of our money. In circulation, billions of 1982 pennies were produced, but as time passes, copper coins are becoming harder to find. Many have been melted down, hoarded, or lost. That's why it's worth checking your old coin jars and collections. You never know when you might come across one of those rare and valuable 1982 varieties. To sum up, the 1982 1-cent coin is not just a small piece of metal, it's a piece of American history. It marks the end of the pure copper penny era and the beginning of a new age in coinage. With its multiple varieties, rare errors, and fascinating story, the 1982 penny continues to capture the attention of collectors worldwide. Whether you find one in your pocket or buy one from a collector, this coin is a must-have for anyone who loves history and hidden value. Thank you so much for watching this video on the 1982 1-cent coin. If you enjoyed learning about its history, its varieties, and its surprising worth, don't forget to like this video, share it with other coin lovers, and subscribe to our channel History Value of the Coins for more amazing stories about coins from around the world. Welcome back everyone to our channel History Value of the Coins, where we explore the hidden treasures, fascinating stories, and surprising worth behind some of the world's most famous coins. If you are passionate about coin collecting or just curious about the hidden value of the coins lying in your pocket, then you are in the right place. Today we are going to talk about one of the most mysterious and valuable coins in modern American coinage history, the 1982 1-cent coin, also known as the Lincoln penny that changed the course of U.S. coin-making forever. Now let's dive into the incredible story of this small yet powerful coin. The year 1982 was a major turning point for the U.S. Mint. Before that year, the Lincoln cent had been made primarily of copper, a tradition that had lasted since 1909, when the first Lincoln penny was introduced to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Those classic copper coins were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc and weighed about 3.11 grams. But by the early 1980s, the price of copper began to rise so high that the metal in the penny was worth more than the penny itself. It became too expensive for the government to keep producing them in copper. In response, the U.S. Mint decided to make a huge change. Starting in 1982, they began producing pennies with a new composition, 97.5% zinc with only a thin copper coating on the outside. These new coins weighed just 2.5 grams, making them lighter and cheaper to produce. However, this switch didn't happen overnight. In 1982, both the old copper coins and the new zinc coins were made, creating one of the most interesting mix years in coin collecting history. Now, the 1982 D penny was struck at the Denver Mint, indicated by the small D mint mark below the date. Denver produced millions of pennies that year, but because the transition from copper to zinc was happening during that same period, two different types of metal compositions exist for the 1982 D penny, the 95% copper version and the 97.5% zinc version. The change in metal wasn't the only thing that made 1982 special. The U.S. Mint also used two different designs for the date, a large date and a small date. When you combine both metal types and both date styles, collectors get several varieties of the 1982 Lincoln cent, and that's where the story of the 1982 D penny becomes fascinating. The 1982 D small date copper penny is one of the rarest and most valuable modern Lincoln cents ever discovered. According to Mint records, all 1982 D small date pennies should have been made from zinc, not copper. But somehow a few copper planchets, the blank metal discs used to make coins, were accidentally mixed in and struck with the small date design at the Denver Mint. For years, no one knew these coins even existed. Then, collectors began discovering them, weighing slightly more than expected at 3.11 grams instead of 2.5 grams. This was the proof that they were struck on leftover copper planchets. This incredible minting mistake created a modern treasure hunt. To this day, only a few genuine 1982 D small date copper pennies have been authenticated by professional grading services such as PCGS and NGC. Because of their extreme rarity and the story behind them, they are worth thousands of dollars. In fact, one of these rare pennies sold for over $18,000 at auction, and experts believe that if a high-grade uncirculated example is ever found, it could sell for even more. Some collectors estimate its potential value could exceed $25,000 or more depending on demand and condition. Let's take a closer look at how to identify the 1982 D penny varieties. There are two main date styles, large date and small date. On the large date, the numbers are thicker and more spread out, while on the small date, the numbers appear slimmer and slightly taller. To tell whether your coin is copper or zinc, you can weigh it. If your 1982D penny weighs about 3.11 grams, it's copper. If it weighs around 2.5 grams, it's zinc. It might seem like a small difference, but that difference could be worth thousands. The obverse side of the coin features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that has been used on the penny since 1909. The words "In God We Trust" appear above Lincoln's head, liberty to his left, and the date along with the mint mark to his right. On the reverse side is the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, with the words United States of America and E Pluribus Unum across the top and the denomination 1 cent below. This design was used from 1959 until 2008, making it one of the longest-running reverse designs in U.S. history. Now let's talk about the general value of the 1982D penny. For most versions of this coin, the value depends heavily on its composition and condition. Common zinc and copper 1982D pennies in circulated condition are typically worth just 1 cent. However, uncirculated examples with no scratches, bright luster, and sharp details can be worth between $5 and $20 to collectors. High-grade examples graded MS-67 or higher can sell for even more, sometimes crossing the $100 mark. But when it comes to the rare 1982D small-date copper penny, we enter an entirely different world of value. Even a slightly worn one can be worth thousands. A verified, high-quality example can be sold for $10,000 or more. This single coin has become a symbol of how even the smallest details can change a coin's value from 1 cent to a life-changing discovery. Because of its unique transition year, the 1982D penny has become a must-have for coin collectors around the world. It tells the story of economic change, technological progress, and a fascinating minting era that continues to spark excitement decades later. Many people still check their old jars of coins hoping to find one of those rare copper 1982D pennies. The chances are small, but history has shown that discoveries can happen in the most unexpected places. If you want to start your own coin hunt, begin by collecting all the 1982 varieties, both copper and zinc, large date and small date, with and without mint marks. Then carefully weigh and examine them. Who knows, you might be lucky enough to find the rarest penny of them all. To sum up, the 1982D 1 cent coin is far more than just another penny. It's a piece of American history, marking the end of the pure copper era and the beginning of the modern zinc era. It's a coin that tells a story of change, economy, and the value hidden in plain sight. For collectors, it represents one of the most thrilling modern-day discoveries, proof that even a small coin can hold a big fortune. Thank you so much for watching this video on the 1982D 1 cent coin. If you enjoyed learning about its history, varieties, and incredible value, please give this video a like, share it with other coin lovers, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel History Value of the Coins. We bring you stories of coins that have changed history and reveal how even the smallest coin can carry a treasure of value. Welcome back everyone to our channel History Value of the Coins, where we explore the hidden stories, fascinating history, and surprising worth of the coins you might already have in your home. Every small coin has a big story behind it, and today we are diving deep into one of the most interesting and valuable pennies in American history, the 1983 1 cent coin, also known as the Lincoln penny. Stay with us till the end of this video because this coin might look ordinary, but some 1983 pennies are worth thousands of dollars, and you could have one without even knowing it. The story of the 1983 1 cent coin begins in a time of change for American coinage. Just 1 year earlier, in 1982, the U.S. Mint made a major decision to change the composition of the Lincoln cent. Before that year, pennies were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. However, the rising cost of copper made each penny more expensive to produce than its face value. So in 1982, the Mint began using a new metal formula, 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating, which drastically reduced the cost of production. By 1983, this new zinc-based penny had fully replaced the old copper ones, making the 1983 1 cent coin the first full year of zinc penny production in U.S. history. The new coins weighed only 2.5 grams compared to the older copper pennies that weighed 3.11 grams. Although this may seem like a small change, it marked the beginning of a new era for the Lincoln cent, and also created one of the most famous and valuable minting eras ever recorded. Let's take a closer look at the design of the 1983 penny. The obverse side features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, which has appeared on the penny since 1909. Above Lincoln's head are the words "In God We Trust." To the left is the word liberty, and to the right is the date 1983 along with a mint mark if there is one. On the reverse side of the coin is the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. The words United States of America are placed across the top, with E pluribus unum just below it, and 1 cent across the bottom. If you look closely, you can even see a tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, a beautiful detail that many people never notice. Now let's talk about where these coins were made. In 1983, the 1-cent coin was produced at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins with no mint mark were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, coins with a small d mint mark were made at the Denver Mint, and proof coins with an S mint mark were created at the San Francisco Mint especially for collectors. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 7.7 billion pennies that year, Denver made over 6.5 billion, and San Francisco struck more than 3 million proof coins. With so many made, you might think that none of these coins could be worth much. But that's where things get interesting. In 1983, something unusual happened at the mint. Even though the new zinc composition had officially replaced copper, a few leftover copper planchets from 1982 somehow got mixed into the machines and were struck with the 1983 date. These accidental copper pennies from 1983 are extremely rare, and they are now considered modern treasures. One of these 1983 copper pennies was discovered weighing 3.11 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams. It was tested and confirmed to be made of the old copper composition. This rare 1983 copper penny sold at auction for over $15,000, and since then, collectors have been on the hunt for more of them. But that's not the only valuable variety. There's another famous error known as the 1983 double die reverse penny. On this variety, the back of the coin shows doubling on the letters, especially in the words United States of America and 1 cent. This means the coin was struck twice by the minting machine, creating a shadow-like double image. These coins are highly sought after and can be worth anywhere from $200 to over $1,000 depending on the condition. Let's break down the value of the 1983 1-cent coin. Regular 1983 pennies that have been used in circulation are generally worth just 1 cent. However, uncirculated examples in mint state condition can be worth between $2 and $10, and proof coins can sell for up to $20 or more depending on their quality. The real treasures, of course, are the error coins. The 1983 double die reverse can bring several $100s, and the rare 1983 copper penny can be worth thousands. If you want to check your own coins, here's what to do. First, weigh your 1983 penny on a digital scale. If it weighs about 2.5 grams, it's the regular zinc version. But if it weighs around 3.11 grams, then you might have one of those extremely rare copper 1983 pennies. You can also look at the reverse side under magnification to check for doubling on the letters. The 1983 penny may seem like a small and simple coin, but it holds an important place in U.S. history. It represents the shift from traditional copper to modern zinc coins. And it reminds us how small changes can create big opportunities for collectors. It's a symbol of how economic pressures and technological improvements influence even the tiniest details of our daily lives. Even today, billions of 1983 pennies are still in circulation, but only a small number of them hold hidden value. So don't underestimate the power of that little penny sitting in your drawer. You might be holding something far more valuable than you think. Collectors often describe the 1983 penny as a key date for modern Lincoln cents, not because it's rare overall, but because of the story it tells and the few extraordinary errors it produced. These coins connect the past and present, the end of one era and the beginning of another. To sum up, the 1983 1-cent coin is more than just a piece of metal. It's a historical marker, a collector's favorite, and in some rare cases, a small fortune waiting to be discovered. Whether you find a rare copper version or a double die error, this coin proves that even the smallest piece of change can carry an incredible story and value. Thank you so much for watching this video on the 1983 1-cent coin. If you enjoyed learning about its history, its varieties, and its hidden worth, make sure to give this video a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel History Value of the Coins for more amazing stories about the coins you use every day. Every coin has a story, every story has value, and we bring that value to you right here on History Value of the Coins. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we uncover another fascinating coin that might just be the treasure hiding in your pocket.